How's it going, everybody? Rejoice. It is Friday. We thank you all for tuning in as always. We have a great show for you this week. We got Coach Kyle Teichmann joining us. He is the head men's coach at Jackson Christian School in Jackson, Tennessee. Coach Teichmann is an awesome dude, brilliant basketball mind. He played for Coach King at Brentwood. He was a standout player at Freed Hardeman. We talk about him being a 3-time NAIA All-American. We talk about finding the right fit when it comes to picking a school, and obviously he talks about his coaching journey with us as well as much more. So again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Sorry we missed you last week. Nate was on vacation. Felt it was best to let him enjoy that with his family. But nonetheless, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the show and have a phenomenal weekend. All right, Nate. So woke up this morning and I'm checking on mine and Coach Twitter, and I see your name is everywhere. What we got going on? Is this something new you're doing? Is this a new tweet style that we were trying out? What is this?
Is it the new me? I don't know. Yes, I do. It's not. But yeah. So the reason I am tweeting now, and I am tweeting more. One, I'm trying to give out good information, obviously. I've seen how these people that are on social media, they get big on social media because they're constantly tweeting and giving out information. Now, I'm not saying I just want to be big on it. You'll understand in a second why I said this. I want to do it. One, because social media is not coaching. Being a great social media actor is not being a great coach. And I completely understand that. And I'm not doing it for the likes and retweets, but I do want to kind of shine a light on it because, one, I am going to try in the next 30 days, because this is how long I'm going to do it for, 30 days. I'm going to try to bring people really good information within 30 days. I'm going to try. And it's 95% of it won't be my own information. It'll be a lot of quotes and stuff like that. But I do want to give really good information. Two, I want it to be very clear that is not how, like, you have to adjust to society as it is going. And so I think it is important to learn from it. And so that's why I'm getting on it. But it's also not like, I don't think you're reaching your players by just tweeting, and you got to be about it. And what goes on in the locker room, you don't always need to post on social media. It's like what stays in the locker room stays in the locker room, So I'm going to do this for 30 days. I'm going to see how it goes. See if we can get some traction. But yeah, it's not. I don't think it's going to be a lifestyle change, Asa.
Thanks. I may have to block you if so.
Can't say it's in my personality to do this. Honestly, it's like really pulling some strings to try to do it. But for 30 days, for the people, I'm going to do it. I'm going to lose followers. I might gain followers. I might give good information. People might hate the information. Who knows how this is going to go? It's episode 39, Asa. Hey, why don't you bring us into it this time?
You want me to bring us in? Let's bring it in. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 39 of the Mind of a Coach podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Asa Duval. Got my good friend Nathan Moran with me. Nate, I know we had a week off last week. You were on vacation. How was that?
It was really good. But yes, if you just listen to the prelude, I am a social media warrior right now. So follow along.
So vacation was good. I mean, just hung out with the family. You played some golf?
Yeah, I played some golf. And, hey, once again, I got to go back. This is not just for laughs, by the way. This is like, I'm legitimately trying to give good information, but like,
I don't think we came off like this was like you're not joking. Like you're not being.
It's honestly like a little theory. We're testing a theory.
It's a real thing. It's just we just gave our opinions on the whole Twitterverse.
Yeah. It can be good and bad.
Well, I guess so. Coach K retired since we last talked. Roy.
No, you were right, Coach K.
Well, he said he at least after this year. I guess he's not officially retired, but Roy and Kay gone in within 2 months of each other.
Yep. All of a sudden they don't do well, don't make the NCAA tournament or whatever, and they're toast.
I'm not gonna say it yet, but I have a theory on one of the factors that led them to retire.
What, cheating? I'll say it.
Well, no, it has to do with
with the scheme documentary that came out.
Really? See, that's an interesting theory because North Carolina already had classes that normal students, or that a class that didn't exist that their kids were going to, and they didn't get. They got stop it.
At some point in the future, I want to have an honest conversation with B. Wright.
Because they said, stop it, North Carolina. We're about to put TSU on probation.
What?
Have you ever heard that saying? Like, Alabama football does something wrong, so they put it
and then UAB gets on probation or something?
UAB gets on probation.
That's funny.
So that's what happened. But that'd be interesting. I did see, I don't know if you saw it, Mark Few just went on stand, I think it was in front of Congress, talking about player likeness.
The name, image, and likeness? Mark Few did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. What was he?
Because they're about to pass this bill about, I think that, or the NCAA is going to pass this bill about NCAA players getting paid, et cetera. And they are going to, and he basically just went on and was like, it's well overdue. They need to get paid.
So he was pro the name, image, and likeness?
But he was like, we need to be able to protect like the safe space of college athletics as well, and the way that money is handed out, et cetera, but ABCD. It was really good. And then he said something along the lines of basically we need you, because if every state has different regulations, it's not going to be equal. Like, it's not going to be fair play.
Yeah.
So, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I don't understand. Does the NCAA, can they not make just one rule, like one rule for regardless? I guess, well, when you're bringing money into it, I guess all the states and taxes and stuff comes into play. That makes sense, but I don't know. That's interesting that he was pro. That's pretty cool.
It was definitely. I enjoyed listening to it.
I was about to say something else. I cannot remember.
Hey, do you have anything to get off your chest? I'm gonna go ahead and get into it.
Oh man, Nate. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and get the LeBron stuff out of the way. Nate, the day has come where LeBron is not the best basketball player in the world at the moment, as it stands.
Well, with the sprained ankle, or just like
LeBron is just no longer the best basketball player in the world right now. Like he's not number one. He's not the best basketball player in the world right now.
Like next year.
He can come back and reclaim it next year, but as it stands right now, he's not. He's not. The dude is old, man. He can't play. He can't put in the first round. He can't go 45 minutes a game and do everything. I mean, his teammates were absolute trash, and the Suns ended up being the better team. They were 100% the better team, dude. LeBron, he got to go like 30 to 32 minutes a night. He can't keep going 45. He can't go 45 minutes a night and expect him to pull it out, dude. His team. Wesley Matthews runs like he doesn't even know how to run. I didn't know where his body was going at any given moment. Kuzma is terrible. KCP is whatever. I mean, you cut it to 11. You got Wesley Matthews in the corner, shoots. Well, LeBron hits him. Great pass, great play. He's got a shot. He just jacks the three and clanks it off the rim. The Suns were the better team, dude, and LeBron's not the best player and LeBron is not the best player in the world at the moment anymore. I got to admit it.
Okay.
And I got something else.
Who is? Is it KD? Obviously, you got to say KD.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. Well, KD, yeah, he's been. I mean, honestly, I'm ready to probably say like Luka or something. I think Luka is.
He's very good, but someone did bring up a good point, and
it's probably
just
KD.
Because I like Luka, I didn't want to say it, but he does play a similar style of basketball that James Harden did at the Rockets. It's a lot of ISO one-on-one ball. Like it is.
It's not Giannis. It's certainly not Giannis.
No, I don't think it is. No.
I don't know.
I think it's got to be KD or Kawhi.
KD, Kawhi, or something.
But if you're Kawhi and you got Paul George,
Dame, I want Dame. Make Dame the best player.
Steph,
we can give it to Steph. Anyway, I'm not done, Nate. I'm not done. I got something else. You know, we took an episode off, so a couple things came up. So my birthday was on Friday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm getting old. I already have I turned 27. I already have like a bag and like a different line under my eye. I'm like, where did this come from? My hips were hurting all weekend.
Your beard's not looking red anymore. It looks gray.
Yeah, looking gray. I'm getting old. So anyway, I don't know like if you're I don't know if you're like into I'm not like into astrology like the zodiac signs. And I don't know if you are, but like I'd say I'm like, I don't know, mildly informed on the subject, like about kind of what each zodiac sign is. I'm a Gemini, right? Again, I don't live my life like this stuff is the gospel truth, but it is interesting when like you get to know somebody and you see, I know you are, when you get to, and like, the person, like their zodiac sign and like what their personality is, and it's just, and it goes together. It adds up. Anyway, so get back in the screen. So my birthday was Friday, right? I'm a Gemini, and I'm scrolling through Twitter. Can you please get on the screen? I'm scrolling. This is serious. I'm scrolling through Instagram last week before my birthday, and I see this quote, dude. And the quote said this. It said, I'm being serious right now. The quote said, "Geminis are meant to be experienced, not understood." Geminis are meant to be experienced, not understood. And, Nate, I don't like it. If there's a circle of normalcy, I'm not like way out there, but I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm in the circle. That's probably like a fair assessment, right? So, and when I heard that Geminis are meant to be experienced, not understood, it was like, boom, the lights came on. And like my whole life made sense. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is, oh my gosh, I can't even, you're welcome for allowing you to experience me now that my life makes complete sense.
Oh man. Asa, after all of your takes that you have had, for you to come out and believe in zodiacs.
I'm not saying it's like the gospel truth. It is interesting. I can't. Oh, where's my?
You believe in zodiacs?
Oh my gosh.
I did not take you as an avid zodiac sign.
Look, again, I told you I don't like live my life like it's the gospel truth, but things do add up, and people's personalities are a certain way, especially when they're born around the same time of the year.
Okay.
That's all I got. I'm done.
Okay.
we thank y'all for tuning in, and we got a great interview with Coach Kyle Teichmann. He's the head coach at Jackson Christian in Jackson, Tennessee. We had his brother on, Chase Teichmann, in our last episode. So please stay tuned. We appreciate it. Say what you just said again.
I said I don't need to. Whenever I used to go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, I hated people that would post about it, because to me that meant that you weren't in the gym always. So you had to capture your one moment when you were in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when I would go to the gym, I was like, I'm not going to post about this, because all that means is you are going to be able to tell my level of work, not by me posting Snapchat stories or Instagram or Twitter. You're going to be able to tell my work by how I perform on the court. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, like I never did that. It always bothered me when people did that. But I mean, once again, like everybody has to, like, and especially the way that the media is going today, it's that delicate balance of like, you have to adapt and adjust. Right?
Yep.
Cliche phrase, but so true. If you can't adjust to the way society is rolling and going, and you're going to get left behind. Yeah. And I mean, you even see it with, like, I'll give you a perfect example. You just mentioned him earlier on in the podcast. It's Coach K. Mm-hmm. Coach K always had, never had a one and done. Mm-hmm. Never had a one and done. Never had a one and done. All of a sudden he gets these one and dones, and he wins a national championship. So, like, you have to adapt and adjust. Obviously,
it's also
a process. You saw that there's teams now like Butler that can compete. There's teams like Loyola Chicago, teams that have built a actual team that are 3- and 4-year players that now can compete. But I digress. Go ahead.
It's all, well, yeah, I think what you said is spot on. Also, it's important to remember, you can change and adapt while still being true to, yourself and kind of the core of who you are without compromising who you are, and still adapting and changing and evolving.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, what do you think?
What's up, Kyle?
Yeah, I just joined in right there. So
Nate's doing a social media kind of. He's bombarding social media with great basketball content. We were just talking about how social media is these days, and kids posting 8 a.m. workouts, and coaches posting a random positive message just about every day, kind of, and how a bunch of different coaches do that, and Nate's kind of starting to do it. So We were just talking about that.
We're in the debate, so I've always been against social media warriors or keyboard warriors per se. Been very against that.
You're in for a good one tonight, Kyle. We've been rolling today. We've been rolling before you.
Oh my gosh! And the reason I've been against it is just because that's not like, I mean, like I was telling Asa, if I was a player and I got up and worked out at 5:30, I don't need to get in the gym and tell you and take a Snapchat and tell you how hard I've been working in the gym. Like, my game will show when I go play. But certain people do that, and that's the way it's kind of trending right now. So I'm taking a little 30 days to give it a little test run.
Okay. Yeah, I've just started following you, so I've seen some of the messages, and I like what I'm seeing. I think this is going to sound old, but it's different from when we played. You know, you would just kind of go in and put your work in, and nobody knew anything about it until the season came around. But coach, you know, if your kids are doing that, you almost want to support them and put that out there so they're getting that positive feedback and positive reinforcement. So if that's the difference between them continuing to do that or not, you know, why would I not hit the retweet button or, you know, say something and kind of promote kids in my program?
Sure. Okay. I have another question, or not really a question, is to go off what you're saying. You have seen plenty of times, I'm sure, guys that take pictures of themselves, they're in the gym working, and they're not. You know, they went in twice a week and they shot just like fadeaways or whatever for 30 minutes and then left. Same thing I personally think can be true for social media in the coaching realm. You can tweet a bunch and then not know what the heck you're talking about, but you've either heard the right information, you've read the right information, or maybe you're just tweeting things that nobody needs to read.
Information.
So I don't know.
Is there too much of that going on right now, Kyle? Is there too much tweeting from coaches going on, or is that do we need more or less of it? How do you see that?
Not more, definitely not more. You know, it's not my personality. I don't have a big online presence per se, and it is some good stuff. But you know, like you said, coaches put it out there, and you know, I could see a coach tweet something that looks great, but the kids that are in that program are going to know if he's kind of practicing what he preaches, or if it's just stuff he's putting out there that is good and sounds good. You know, kids are really good at determining authenticity and finding out what's real or fake. So I think some people that do that maybe aren't as well intentioned eventually kind of get exposed. But you know, there's never anything wrong with trying to put something positive and help somebody else learn. So I think we're pretty close to the max of tweets and messages. You cut back a little bit, but it doesn't need to go away altogether.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, hey, so through this 30 days experience, we're gonna have to see if this is a positive or negative thing. I'm on the. It's like really against my personality. Like wouldn't think I love doing this, but we're gonna see how it goes. So.
Well, with that being said, we have Coach Kyle Teichmann on the show with us today. Kyle played high school basketball at Brentwood High School. He went on to play college ball at Freed-Hardeman University, where he was a 3-time NAIA All-American. He was a 2-time Conference Player of the Year, and he left Freed-Hardeman as the all-time leading scorer. He was an assistant at Centennial High School in Franklin, Tennessee, and then went on to be the middle school boys head coach and high school assistant at Jackson Christian in Jackson, Tennessee, before being named the head coach at Jackson Christian in April of 2019. Kyle, appreciate you coming on, man. How you doing?
Dude, I'm great, man. This is an honor. I'm a loyal listener from the early days, so y'all do an unbelievable job. You have great guests, but the way you ask, the questions you ask, and the way you interact makes the show. So I'm you know, it's in my rotation. I download every one of them, so it's an honor to be on the #1 golf podcast in Tennessee.
Yes,
Dude,
yes.
Thank you, Kyle.
Hey, end it.
And that's
the podcast.
We appreciate that. We really do. Yeah, man, we're excited to have you on. Hey, what's going on at Jackson Christian? Talk to us. How's everything going?
Yeah, we're in the middle of the summer camp, team camp season. So we're in Nashville or Brentwood yesterday. We're at Ravenwood's team camp and got back late last night. So just playing a lot of games, kind of moving things around, really trying to get a feel for what you're going to have next year and getting a lot of guys experience in our situation. So it's one of my favorite times of year. It's exhausting. It's tiring for me and for the kids, but it was so much fun as a player going to team camps and doing all that. I enjoyed it a lot.
Team camp was so much fun. I had so much fun with team camp. I have no idea how I played 3 games back to back anymore, but I mean, I love team camp.
Well, we're a little older now.
Yeah, we're much older.
it's fun. I try to limit it to 2 in a day because that third one, it kind of kids start getting hurt and I stop getting back on defense. But yeah, man, Coach King, you play 3 in a row, and he would say, you're 17, you don't get tired. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
I'm tired right now.
We had to fight one time. Coach Boucher had to go up to Coach King, and he literally said that exactly. We were tired. We hadn't had a day off in a while, and we had just played a tough game. We pulled it out, but it was a tough one. We were tired, and Coach King, 17, 18-year-old kids, they don't need a day off. They'll be fine tomorrow. They don't need a day off. And Boucher was like, Boucher's, Coach, I really think they need a day off. And finally, Coach King, he gave us the day off. So me and Jack obviously skipped school the next day. Hey, so talk to us about. I want to talk to you about your playing days at Freed. Obviously, you had an incredible career. How did getting to Freed? How did that come about? And then just talk to us about your playing days, the work you had to put in, because I think your numbers kind of speak for itself for the work ethic and the kind of person you were in college.
Yeah. So, we'll go way back. Like when I was in elementary and middle school, I loved it, but I was not I wasn't killing it the way Nate describes his middle school days. Like I was on the team. I was, coming off the bench in middle school. And when some kids that were in 7th grade were playing up on the 8th grade team, I wasn't. So it kind of came later, and I was always big, but a little on the heavier and kind of baby fat, chunky side. So I just kept working on it. I loved it. And I would go to the Y in the summers and play pickup against older guys. And that summer between 8th and 9th grade, it kind of clicked and started having that success. And then once you have it, you want more of it. So, that kind of started the process, and, had some success in high school. Was starting as a sophomore and played and getting recruited by, some NAI D2 schools, and had Division I schools sending me mail and calling eventually, but, nobody was going to pull the trigger. So, the relationship I had with my assistant coach at the time, Ryan Parnell, I actually met him when he was at Tennessee Tech. He was like a graduate assistant there when I was 9 or 10, working their summer camp that I went to. So then 6-7 years later, I'm 16 years old, and he's at one of Andre Whitehead's 10 prep hoop showcases, and he sees me and we catch up and just stayed in touch from there. And, I got better and better, and they thought I'd be a good fit there. So that relationship was really what started. And then once I got to know the head coach, Coach Shelton, and kind of see his vision for the program, it was, the perfect fit for how I played, what I wanted to do. So, I've obviously put a lot of time and a lot of effort in, but going to the right place, I don't know if I would have been as successful somewhere else.
Talk to us about how important, I know you kind of hit on it, but if you can elaborate a little bit more just about how important finding the right fit is, as opposed to, we talked about a lot, as opposed to, just the biggest name or whatever. Fit is so important. Oh, man.
And I would have killed to gotten a Division I offer from Utah. So, I would have gone anywhere. If it was D1, that was the goal. And I think it was just a God thing that I didn't get one, because I would have taken it. I would have passed up this unbelievable opportunity, and not just from a basketball standpoint. So many other good things happened to me there. Chuck Benson, who's the head coach of Carson Newman, they recruited me at the time. I didn't go there, but I had a really good relationship with him, and that's who my youngest brother played for. He was talking to me, and they had offered early and really wanted me, and he just said, "Look, you're waiting for all these places, and you need to go somewhere where you're plan A." These other schools that are talking to you, they've offered somebody else, and they're waiting to hear from them. If they say no, they'll settle for you, but you're like plan B or plan C for them. So why would you not want to go somewhere where you're a plan A guy? They believe in you. They want you ahead of anybody else. So I didn't necessarily take that advice at the time, but looking back, Freed Hardeman was the place where the first school to offer me the most consistent in communication, and it worked out, obviously, and I'm so thankful that it did. But you got to go where you're wanted. I wanted to play. I would not have been happy sitting on the bench or even playing and maybe not even being one of the main contributors. So that was what was important to me, and it ended up working out and changing my life.
Yeah. So I got a question. So as a high school kid, what do you tell somebody? Okay, so you explain it the way your coach explained it to you. You want to go where there's a plan A. How would you explain that to a kid that you're coaching?
I think you just go back on your life experience and your story. And even now, hey, I don't even know, y'all know what the number is, but 800 kids are in the transfer portal. So there are kids going places that is not a fit, and they're having to change, and they're not wasting a year, but like you could be building momentum somewhere else, and it's hard to fault them if they don't listen, because I wouldn't have listened when I was that age. But
Exactly.
you know,
Same is what I'm
yeah.
saying. No way I would have.
But you didn't listen, and it worked out for you. So I mean, there's no right answer. So I think you just talk from what you've seen, not only personally, but other people. That, hey, I know this guy, and he went here, and he wished he had done something else. And they're going to make whatever decision they want to. You just got to at least give them another opinion, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would say, yes, it did work out for me, but it was also probably the only perfect fit at the Division I level. Like it wasn't like I was the high flyer or anything like that. So, I think it was just the perfect fit once again.
Yeah, I'm gonna enter. I've got a funny Nathan Moran story. Kind of.
Oh gosh.
Oh, come on, bring it.
This is y'all played at Vanderbilt at some point during your career.
Freshman year.
Yep.
Freshman year. So one of my best friends played college basketball with him, goes to the game, and calls me after, and he said, "Dude, Vanderbilt is terrible." And I was like, "Well, man, I don't know who was the coach then, but
Kevin Stallings.
They were starting a white point guard, Riley LaChance, when he was a freshman, and he goes, "The kid from Lipscomb was way better than him." He said Lipscomb had a better point guard than Vanderbilt, and then ends up that was you. But that
well, they were wrong.
Now you could shoot just as well as Riley LaChance.
Oh, I mean,
And
yes, in that category.
You were just as good of a point guard as Riley LaChance.
Well, I appreciate it, Asa. I appreciate it. All right, let's talk about something else. Makes me feel a little weird.
Hey, Coach King. Talk to us about Coach King, your experience with him, what he meant to you, what you learned from him, crazy, funny story you got. I know there's a million.
Yeah, this could be its own podcast.
My fault. You were with Hadley your first 2 years, right? Freshman and sophomore year?
Yeah, so and my freshman year, I just played freshman, and Coach Boucher was our coach. So
yeah.
Coach Hadley was the coach my sophomore year, and then he resigned after the season, and who's going to be the coach, and it's Coach King, and like several of the guys on the team had older brothers that had played for him, and so kind of knew of him, and like that it was just horror stories, like here's what's about to happen, you're about to run till you throw up, like he's going to put trash cans in the corners, and I mean he's like just all the crazy stuff that he's done. So like definitely intimidated, and he gets the job, but it's exciting because he supposed to run with basketball, do great things even before the run he had with you guys at the end. But, I'll never forget, he got the job, met with us as a team, and the first thing he did is said, "I want to meet with each of you individually." And we just kind of found time throughout the day. And I sat in his office on that just stinky, nasty couch that he had that was just horrible. And we would start talking ball. And he gets out coins, like pennies, quarters, and dimes, and puts them out. Instead of drawing on a board, he's moving these coins around. You can just see he sees it in his head, like he gets that mad scientist look, and like telling how he's going to use me, what we're going to do. Like, and I just like, oh my gosh, this guy knows basketball better than anybody I've ever been around. And like, yeah, he was tough, and he pushed you, and he demanded, more out of you than anybody else. But like, it came from a good place. Like, I mean, he had my back. That was just the feeling I had. So didn't always like him, but I love him. Like there were times where you wish you could just tell him how you really felt, and you put the boxing gloves on. But like, just a unique individual, but a genius in basketball and everything else. I mean, a brilliant author. I've read all his books, and just he is really one of the kindest people. Like I'll call him, and he'd do anything for me. Like I'll send him videos after the season. He'll scout my team for me. And we were playing at a Christmas tournament in Florida a couple years ago, and our first round opponent was a team in Pennsylvania. Text them, "Hey, have you heard of this school?" "Yeah, they're like 15 minutes down the road. I'm going to watch them Friday." So he scouted this team for us, ended up beating them. Like, I mean, he's just
what?
He's a basketball junkie, man. He loves it. He really does. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that was one of the things whenever I got the job here, I had a big junior class. So I just kind of told them, "Hey, I've been in your shoes," like, and it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, getting nothing against Coach Hatley, but like Coach King was exactly what I needed, what we needed. And I said, I know the responsibility that this title has, and I hope I can do for you guys what he did for me then and what he still does for me now. So I've got a stack of his books in the corner of my office. He sent them to me when I got the job to give to my players. I mean, he's just extremely generous.
Mm-hmm. He is, man. He really is. He's a generous dude. So you, hang on, my fault.
Hey, so I got one.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he is a generous dude. He sent me a stack of books right as he got off the podcast. I was like, I'd be so interested in those. And he sent me, and I had like 2 books that I had to read. I'm about to finish the second one, and then I'm going to start his. And man, like the biggest question I want to ask is, what are some ways that you actually see some of the Coach King style play out through your coaching?
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll get to him later, but take a lot from my college coach, Jason Shelton, and Coach King. I mean, even we're at Ravenwood yesterday, and we call Pat, and we get a back door, and Coach Whitlock's there and just shakes his head and laughs. So like,
oh, really?
A lot of his quick hitters, obviously, the way he prepared. I'm not going to go like the out of the box defensive stuff he would do. That's just that's out of my comfort zone, but. The way he would attack a defense, I think a lot of that, he had so many high-low baseline, like stuff that just works that he was doing before. Everybody's doing it now, but like he was probably one of the first people to do some of this stuff tactically. So my kids would say that I yell like him sometimes and have that side, but I think just he put the time in. He was never surprised by anything. So the preparation and then just the offensive, the sets that we use.
I think the preparation for him was he's the best preparer. Is that a word? Preparer. Yeah, I mean, I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's incredible at it. So when did you we had Chase on, huge sports family, a lot of sports going on in the house all the time. When did after playing, when did coaching enter your mind, I guess?
Man, so I'd always thought it'd be fun. Like we grew up, we're a big basketball family. My grandfather took us to the state tournament every year. So like I grew up going and watching, and my grandfather, my uncle would talk about the teams that were well coached and like what they liked that coaches did. So like it was kind of planted pretty early, but when I went to college, I didn't pursue it. I didn't like major in teaching or PE or anything like that. I actually finished playing and was happy, and I was at peace and had an MBA. So like, I got this business degree, let's go use it. And I worked in insurance for 3 years, sold insurance at State Farm, and it was a good experience, but there's just something missing. My first year out was Grant's senior year, so I kind of followed their journey and that run they had, and I went to all his games. Then that next year, I just kind of didn't have anything. Like I was training some kids on the side, but like there's just something missing. And like I knew it, my wife knew it. Just started looking online, and one day on the TSSAA bulletin board, assistant coaching job at Centennial pops up, and Pete Froden's the head coach. And he was
That's right. Okay, I didn't realize you were under Pete.
Yeah. Okay. So he's a character too.
He's a cool dude.
I went and visited with him, and went and talked to my boss, and we were going to make it work at the office. And I was out of it for 3 years. And once I got back in the gym and was a part of a team again, it was just like, oh my God, what have I been missing? Why, what took so long? And it was pretty clear pretty early that I would make that transition at some point. I was want to go to my job that didn't pay me anything and leave my job that paid the bills. And it was so clear what needed to happen.
Dude, when I went up to Cincinnati Christian and those first, I was literally only there for a couple months. Within that first month, obviously I had more basketball responsibility when it comes on the court stuff up at Cincinnati. I asked myself this. I was like, what on earth was I thinking? Like, why was I not doing this before? This is so much fun. Why did I not even think to do this before? Is he frozen?
There's nothing like it. The bad days doing this are better than the good days doing something else. So it just
yes.
I mean, my father-in-law claims he knew it would happen, and I get back into it, and I was just trying to be a professional or make some money or whatever. But it worked out when it did. But it's I don't know if it was one to move on or just grow up or whatever. But it's No, there's nothing like it.
It's the best.
I have no idea what I would do without basketball, Asa.
Yeah, it's it's the best. It's absolutely.
Guys like us, we've just spent so much of our lives on basketball, and it's hard to transition. This is what we know. So, I mean, we know people, we know basketball, and That's why I couldn't get another job.
That's about it. That's about it.
You start thinking about it, and everybody you know is through basketball. You
Yep.
start connecting dots.
Yeah.
What's the common thread? Oh, we like this game where you throw a ball through a hoop. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
I got a little nervous there, Coach. During quarantine last year, I was like, so I started thinking, I was like, okay, so if basketball doesn't exist anymore, like, because like there was so much unknown, I was like, if basketball doesn't exist anymore, I don't know what I'll do. Like, I maybe like.
You got an MBA though, Nate. You got an MBA.
Yeah, but like still, like I'm telling you, I would have no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
All right, so what you said probably relates to me more. I've got an MBA. What does that mean? What skills does that give you? Like,
well, I guess it doesn't give you any skills, but it may
Can
put
I be
you.
a basketball trainer with that, or?
I mean, it may put you at the top of the stack or something. It may get you a little closer.
Yeah, no, I mean, people like when people hear it, they love it. But like if they ever went deeper, like,
True.
all right, since you have that, what can you do? I would just be like,
I coach basketball. That's how I feel.
That was a rough time last year. That was a rough time. That was a scary time. So I saw your brother today. Actually, I saw Grant. He's been playing with our guys. He played yesterday, played today, and then Chase was actually up at the gym yesterday too.
Okay.
He was in town, and then so anyway, I guess I was brushing up, doing a little research on you, and saw an article, and you said in college you can pick your players that fit your system, but as in high school you kind of got the system has to fit your player, system has to fit your players more so. How did you go about doing that? How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, I don't know that I have the answer because we struggle as much as the next people, but in a perfect world we'd have a big 6'10" post that was skilled and we'd throw it to him every time, right? That's the dream. It's not what I've got here. So I think the whole job of a coach as far as just the on-court product, right? We do all this other stuff, but we want to help the kids, but I've got to take my group and make them as successful as they can be. So that's maybe doing something you're not as comfortable or familiar with. I've got a brand new team this year and nobody's more than 6'2". So we played yesterday and shot probably 30, 35 threes one game. And it makes me want to throw up sometimes, but we can't throw the ball inside. We're not, gonna run pick and roll stuff. So, you just got to look at your team and really assess it. I think it challenges you as a coach to get out of your comfort zone and talk to people and learn new things all the time. But, I'll have a better answer at the end of the year. This is my first real transition from having one group and having them, graduate and a new team. But, I think, whatever it takes, there's Pete Froden said this, my first year Centennial, we were wanting to play fast. And of course, kids love play fast, score. And after a game, we were doing that and throwing the ball all over the gym and got beat by 40. And he just said, I'm not going to sprint to my own funeral, right? Basically, if playing fast is going to get us beat quicker, we're not going to do that. So then we turned into a kind of grind it out. We want to play it 32-30. And, if that gives you the best chance, and that's kind of what you should do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
I like that one.
I love that. Yeah.
I'm not going to sprint to my own funeral. I like that.
That's great. All right. So I personally have one question. What is the biggest lesson you have learned from the game of basketball, whether it was playing or coaching?
Man, that's a tough question, man.
Oh yeah, should have sent it to you beforehand.
Nate, hang on, Kyle. Before you go, Nate, I'm sorry. So when I want to answer this question because when Casey asked us this question, I just want to clarify this. I'm not trying to step on your toes, Kyle. I did not articulate my answer very well when Casey asked us that question. So I'm gonna say the thing that I've taken away is it's amazing what can be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit. I just wanted to, that's from a million episodes ago. I just wanted to say that and re-articulate my answer and to hopefully get your wheels spinning, Kyle. So sorry.
Maybe that'll be my tweet for tomorrow.
That's good. That gave me some time to think, and it lets me know if I give a bad answer, I can come back like 30 episodes later.
Yeah. Kyle, you have an invitation to come back on anytime and re-say anything you said.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You said step on your toes. That made me think of the time you dropped the weight on Grant's toe and broke his toe.
Oh.
What?
We laugh about that all the time.
Asa, what?
Oh my gosh, I did. I sure did.
When was this?
I guess this was my senior year, I think. It was
So he was a
probably
sophomore.
after my junior year or something. So, we were in the weight room, and I guess Grant, we were doing, we were on the incline bench with some dumbbells, and I got done with the rep, and I put the weights down, and I guess Grant's foot was right there, and it landed on the top of his foot, and it broke him. He was out for like 2 or 3 months. I felt so bad.
Holy cow.
You shouldn't. I'm sure he was bothering you. He was closer than he should have been. Like it was warranted.
That's such an older brother thing to say.
Golly, I forgot about it.
That's the biggest older brother. Like, as the youngest, that one hurts. Like, I've heard that.
But I think really getting back to the question, just the lesson of how to respond when things don't go your way. I mean, I grew up in Brentwood. I had a super easy life. Like, never wanted for anything and was successful, and some things came easy, but like eventually life happens and hard things hit. And the lessons of, you being the only one that controls your attitude and effort. And, when you make a mistake, you recognize it, admit it, learn from it, forget it. Like all these cliches that like coaches will say that sometimes like they sound good as a tweet, but like they actually work, Yeah, no matter what happens, nobody can make me have bad attitude. I've got to choose to have bad attitude or not give 100% effort. But like, I don't know if I can pick one. There's just so many of those sayings that run through my head that I tell myself when something's going wrong, and I'm telling my kids, when something goes wrong, I tell my 3.5-year-old daughter, like it's sports, it's a game, it's fun, but it really is life.
100%. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people don't see is the surface level. They just think it's throwing a ball through a hoop. They don't understand the hours and hours and hours of time you spend with your teammates, with your coaches, with people that are really building into your life outside of the game of basketball. And I mean, to be honest, yes, we joked and talked about how we don't know much more than the game of basketball, but it's also how we found purpose. And we found purpose in life through the game of basketball. And that is why the majority of us probably in this podcast, or if not all of us, are in this field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it happens without you knowing it. Like, it's not like,
yes,
we finished practice, now coach is going to talk to us about life lessons for 10 minutes. Like, it just kind of soaks in, and like then you find yourself saying something your coach said without even realizing it. Like, it's the coolest way to learn something.
It's really organic. Yeah, you're right. You don't even realize it's happening until it happens, and you look back and that was pretty cool. I didn't even know it.
Yeah. Okay, I want to say one more thing. This has nothing to do with but it has something to do with what you just said about saying something after practice, and how, like, you say it and you don't know you're saying it, and basically you're just repeating it, right? Like, when you have a culture organization and culture, I guess, and you're trying to build that culture, you constantly reiterate your words. Does that sound mildly correct?
Yeah.
I just find that so interesting, that it's like just getting every single person on the same. I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry. I just want to make that very clear. It's just that you can get everybody on the same page by speaking consistent words. I don't know. Maybe that's the tweet for tomorrow.
Man, I'm busy.
Get ready.
Say something enough. Is that what you're saying, Nate? If you just say something enough?
No, well, not say something, but I mean, obviously it's a belief. Like, everybody has to believe in it, right? And obviously, like, I've heard that your leadership is equivalent basically to your influence. Like, as far as it can go is how much you have influence. And having influence, I mean, if you have influence, then you have to be consistent with that influence. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I just think it's interesting, like, how many times, like, Coach Alexander said specific words, or how many times my high school coach, Len McNatt, said team in all caps, and like, just like stuff like that. And doesn't matter, get better, like, I got his voice just like ringing in my head, and it's like, wow, like, yeah, when in life, like you're talking about, it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going. So I don't know, just the words repetition almost is, I think, so significant, I guess, for young adolescents.
That's a great point. Kyle, do you have any desire to coach college?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of Chase does it, and kind of the reason I didn't pursue it initially, I don't like to travel. I've got two young daughters, and even before them, like when we go play an away game that was like 8 hours away, and then turn around and come back like that, that wasn't enjoyable for me. So I'm a homebody. I like being at home.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just the recruiting aspect of it. That's something I haven't done. I think that's difficult. And if you're not doing that, it's going to be really hard to be successful. So, kind of earlier the challenge we had of being at one place and just taking what you get almost and making the best out of it. It's unique about high school basketball, and you get to reach more kids, at least in my situation of a small private school. And I love teaching. Like I teach math every day, and that's fun for me too. So
Yeah. You teach economics too, don't you, or just math?
I taught econ my first 2 years, and then kind of switched over just to math full time.
Okay.
Whatever they tell me to do, but the last couple of years has been math.
Well, good stuff.
So, I mean, I guess talk to us about the teaching aspect of being a high school coach. You said you enjoy it. Just, I mean, how much is that a whole nother thing that you got to worry about? Obviously, you want to do well. I mean, you want to teach well and help the kids learn. But what else? What does that add to your plate?
Yeah, like talk a little bit about the time it takes,
Yeah.
like the lesson planning and all of that.
Yeah. So my athletic director, who is my college head coach, the first meeting we have every year of coaches, he says the easiest way to get fired is to be a bad classroom teacher. So I mean, you're a teacher first and a basketball coach, but like, if you look at your salary breakdown, like you're getting paid to teach, and then you're also getting paid to coach. But it's fun because basketball, you're teaching kids how to play basketball. So I'm teaching kids how to, solve equations and do that kind of stuff. But it's, I don't know, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, they're funny, they're fun to be around. They've got a lot of energy. So, it's fun. They energize you, and same thing, seeing them learn something new and seeing them achieve something they didn't think they could is a similar feeling, maybe not as intense as it would be on a court. So I love it. It does take up time, obviously. Being a head coach here, I'm not teaching, every class period of the day. I've got 3 periods built in where I have time to plan and do my practice and all that kind of stuff. The good thing about teaching is if you've got the same classes year after year, once you've done it once, then the prep time gets quite a bit less. Year 2, year 3, you're just kind of running it back, tweaking things here and there. But, you're teaching that pretty same lesson on March 15th or whatever it is every year. So there's consistency, there's a routine, which I like. It's a big part of the job. So a lot of people, the appeal of college is you don't have that aspect of it. You're basketball all day, every day. But it's nice to have a break, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I really should have just asked what's it like to also have to teach a class on top of teaching basketball. But so I know Nate asked Chase this, something along the lines of this the other day. How often do you and Chase bounce basketball ideas off each other?
Man,
and Grant.
And Grant, for that matter, yeah.
Not as often as you would think, and it's hard with Grant because of the time difference when he's overseas. So like, my daughter loves him. Like he's her uncle, and she wants to see him. But like, you got to time it where if it's 5 o'clock here, it's like 3 a.m. So when he's awake, I'm kind of in class and doing stuff. So and then the broadcast of his games are in German and not the best quality. So like it's hard to watch them and keep up. I watch more of Chase's games, but he was at our games yesterday, and him and Grant watched, and I mean it's almost a different sport. Like small Division II single A basketball in Tennessee versus NAIA basketball. I mean they've got a shot clock, they got the deeper 3-point line, they've got guys that are dunking and doing stuff. So I watch a lot of his, and I'll see it of, hey, why'd you do this, or I saw you do this, but it's usually not hey, this play works for me in high school, why don't you try it? Just because the games are so different. But it's, and you talk about it and think about it so much, and it's hard to talk about your team with somebody who's doesn't know your team as well. Yeah. So just more being a support, and hey, y'all did good stuff today. I watched the game, or I saw the score, what happened, just kind of being there to let the other guy vent for the most part.
Well, Nate, I don't have much more. If you want to go ahead, I don't know if you got anything, or we can do some rapid fire questions.
If he doesn't mind, let's go rapid fire.
Want to do some rapid fire, Kyle?
Absolutely.
Here we go, man. Here we go. All right. Okay. Last technical.
That's actually around Christmas, December of this past season. Coach's box got a warning. I swear my pinky toe was over the line on the baseline. Got teed up at Ezel Harding. Had to sit, for the last quarter and a half. But it was a double the warning for the coach's box and then being over the line. So I've gotten, I don't know, probably 5 since I've been the head coach in the last 2 years. So I can do a better job.
It's not that bad.
You ever been kicked out of a game as a coach or player?
I'm not. No. Once you get that first one, you've got to tread very carefully.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you ever dunked a basketball on a 10-foot rim?
I have. It was harder than I would have liked, but I could. I think I still can, but I definitely could. Back in the day.
Did you ever get you you get some in-game dunks?
Yeah, I mean, 7 or 8 maybe. Just I wasn't a high flyer, and if it was really, it took a lot of work. So if I did it, I was gassed. I was having, are we up enough? Do I need a break? Like it had to be wide open. I wasn't trying anything in traffic.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let's see. You're up 3 at the end of the game. Do you foul or let it play out?
Man, I would love to foul. I think it makes the most sense when you talk through it, but there's a lot that can go wrong, and with a smaller team, I think it's easier just to say, hey, we're switching everything. We're not helping on the drives, and we drill it in practice, but we're going to play it out. Especially in high school, kids don't shoot it as well. Mm-hmm. But again, when you think about it, in a perfect world, fouling makes a ton of sense, but if you're smaller, size is such a big factor at our level that I think putting somebody in a free throw blockout is not going to be great for us sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, leave your best player in with 2 fouls in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, if you're up comfortably, then you'll take him out. Just worst case scenario, but you can't win a game in the first half. You can definitely lose one. So I'm not gonna sit there and have them go on a big run with my best guy on the bench.
Yeah, for sure. Go for the tie or go for the win.
If you don't think you're going to win in overtime, I think you try to go for the win. I mean, you got to look at how good are they, what's my foul trouble looking like, and can I survive an overtime period? So a lot of that depends. If you aren't playing great and it's a team that maybe you're more talented than, let's go to overtime and let's play 4 more minutes, because the longer you play, the more likely the better team's going to win. So I think a lot of it depends on, not necessarily, a lot of people say, home versus away. I think it depends on who you're playing, not as much where you're playing.
Okay. I agree. Yeah. Okay. Casual or professional on the sidelines?
Casual is great. It's comfortable, but there's something about a Friday night when your rival's coming to town that you want to look nice and throw that button up on and maybe a tie. I can't, colleges, y'all have to do suits and all that. I couldn't do that, but if I had to go one or the other, it'd be casual, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit for the big game.
It is nice. It is nice every once in a while to get dressed up.
I would agree with that. I occasionally I like to wear the suits. Occasionally.
I like. Who were we talking?
At home.
Chase, I was about to, at home. I think Chase said something about I like that. At home I can do a suit. I do not want a suit on the road. Okay, early morning practice or evening or night practice?
I would go early morning. I mean, evening or night, that's when I put my girls to bed, so I don't want to miss that. And one of the biggest benefits of a head coach is you get to make your schedule. So I'd go early morning and before school and knock it out. But we go like 3 to 5 every day, so we're done even before nighttime, which is nice part about high school.
Yeah, got you. If you could not coach basketball, what would you do?
Man, so I love to cook. If there's not a game on at the house, Food Network's on.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. What do you like to cook?
What's
your favorite dish that you eat that you cook?
I'm getting on the grill and doing some chicken wings and asparagus. So that's the go-to. But yeah, Food Network's on. Guy Fieri has the best job on the planet. I could be his successor, or maybe be going to culinary school and owning a restaurant. But I mean, you could look at me and tell that I love food, but it's kind of an obsession, and I maybe go that route.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have not had a food guy on yet.
We have not had a culinary specialist, like you said.
I would not go that far.
All right. What do you play golf?
I've never played a round of golf in my life.
You've never played a round of golf in your life?
When you cannot hit the ball, how do you play?
So the Teichmann family just does not like golf.
No, my dad loved it. My dad he was a member of the Governor's Club, played all the time, but he just couldn't get us into it. I see the appeal of it, like being outside and getting away, and it's quiet and competing against yourself. But it's not Charles Barkley, but my percentage of making contact with the ball is worse than some people's 3-point percentage. I just can't hit it.
I will say this. When I was younger, I absolutely hated golf. I hated it. It was too slow. It was like baseball. It was just too slow. It took too long. But now it's like, wow, it's nice to get away for a little bit.
Can you hit a baseball?
Kind of. I don't know. I play baseball also. I love putt. So last week when Nate was playing putt, I was like, man, I get it. I would rather do that too. So, and I love I get the point of it. I can't hit the golf ball like a driver.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So you definitely don't have a handicap. Some might say your handicap is golf.
I see what you did there, Ace.
Should every team make the conference tourney?
I think so. It's a tournament sport, and if a team's eliminated from the conference tournament early, that's going to really diminish the play at the end of the regular season. So that's going to impact it. So I give everybody their shot, and maybe it's not, you give the better teams buys or double buys. But yeah, I think everybody deserves their shot to make a run and do something that they'll remember forever.
Yeah. That's a great point about diminish the end of the regular season. I've definitely seen that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
For instance, Asa, this year there was a team in our conference that said they had COVID or something. I don't think they had it, and they just didn't play one of the top teams because they were out. They were out already, and they were just like, "We're done."
Yeah, I
This year was a special situation. I understand that, but still,
that is, Kyle. That's a great point. Absolutely.
Especially even from a coaching perspective, how do you coach a team that has literally nothing to play for? That. You could be 0 and whatever, and you can keep guys motivated if, hey, we just keep getting better. All we got to do is win this one game. That'd be hard to do. It'd be hard to play. It'd be hard to coach if you didn't have anything.
Yeah, certainly would.
All right, so I have a question on that now. I'm getting off the rapid fire. So this is going back, I guess. What would you say to schools that are transitioning from the Division II to the Division I level that have no chance of making the NCAA tournament? They can still play in the ASUN or whatever tournament they're in, MAC. But how would you what would you say to those kids? Because I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know if I'd want to go to one of those schools.
I don't know, man. Yeah, those schools that are transitioning, I don't know how the players that are there stay. I don't know how they get new kids. That'd be so difficult.
I got recruited by a school that was transitioning to Division I, and their pitch to me was basically, hey, come here, and then that fourth year, with the group you came in with, that's going to be the group that that's going to be the group that first year of us being eligible. That was part of their. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but still, as a competitor, I wanted to reach it every single year, and I was pretty upset every single year we did not make it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it obviously didn't work, but I'm just saying that's kind of, I think, the approach that you have to take is, hey, come here. It's going to suck for 3 years. I don't know how until that fourth year that we can get in there.
Kyle, what do you think?
Well, I don't understand why. Yeah, that's a rule in the first place. Why are we?
I don't either. I don't get that.
But I think it was North Alabama this year. They were ineligible and they made the finals of the tournament. And they're playing something really good, and they played with them the whole game.
Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Liberty. They had nothing to play for, and so it didn't affect them. But I think it's just an outdated rule in my opinion.
Well, a crazy thing is that. So I guess it was our sophomore year, Kyle, and we
talking about Stetson.
Yeah, we lost to Stetson in the semifinals, and so it was Stetson versus Florida Gulf Coast in the finals. If Stetson wins, North Florida was going to go to the NCAA tournament because North Florida had won the regular season.
But
it went down to the buzzer.
That was like some academic stuff, though, wasn't it? Like that wasn't a transition. I think that was academic.
Stetson was still transitioning.
No, they weren't, Nathan.
How are you going to say no? I think it's 5 years, and they were in their 4th or 5th year.
Nate, I was committed to the school. That was not their fourth or fifth.
And you were a sophomore. You
Nathan,
senior
they
year,
were
you
not.
get to
No,
play.
they were. That was not their 4th or 5th year in Division I.
What do you think? How many years do you think they were there?
Nate, they had been. I know this. They were eligible the whole time we were there. My whole college career, they would have been eligible.
Okay, so I'm going to pick your brain real quick. Sorry, Kyle, that you have to be a part of this. You just said that they recruited you and said you guys weren't going to be eligible until.
No. That's a different school. That's a different school. That's a different school.
I digress. It might have been an academic thing. Continue, Asa.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about Stetson.
No. I was talking about a different. No. Casey was the one that recruited me at Stetson.
I know, and they weren't eligible at that time, I didn't think.
Yeah, they were, dog. I'm telling you, they were.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay. All right, LeBron or Jordan?
All right, so I'm putting my shirt up here, but I'm not answering the question. What's the question? LeBron or Jordan? Who's the better player? What's the question?
Who's the better Looney Tunes actor?
Are you more of a Jordan fan or are you more of a LeBron fan? That's kind of really what the question is. The question
It really is.
That's really what the question is. I probably should have prefaced that before I start. But the question really is more: are you a LeBron fan or are you a Jordan fan? And I guess why?
Yeah, I'm a LeBron fan, and because I think he's a better basketball player, and he can do more. I mean, people won't agree, but he shoots the ball better than Jordan. The rest says Jordan's a better scorer, but LeBron puts it in the basket at a higher percentage from deep. And it's not a knock on Michael Jordan. He dominated his era, but LeBron's a better basketball player. And they both had unbelievable careers, but I'm a LeBron guy in that argument.
Okay, perfect. I love that answer. Hey, I do want to ask you. All right, so you being a big guy, playing down low, post player. Just give some of your best advice to post players. What would be some, because obviously not the most athletic guy, not the tallest guy. You had to find ways to be creative and get your baskets. Give us some advice for post players.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dying breed. It's a lost art. Like nobody uses a back to the basket guy anymore, and not in high school. It's getting more rare in college. So like, I look at it as an opportunity of like, hey, if you want to play, get good at this, and people won't even have practice guarding it because it's such a rare thing. But it's all about the fundamentals. It's the footwork. It's the touch. It's doing the same stuff over and over and over until it is just. I mean, you're not even thinking. You've done this a million times. It's just like programmed in your body. But I mean, I think the more stuff you can do, the harder you're going to be a guard. But get good at one thing. Get to where your jump hook is automatic, and then now add a up and under or a spin back. But there's it's the mic and drill. It's all the boring stuff. But I mean, I miss watching it a lot, and it's come back some with Embiid and Jokic is unbelievable, man. His footwork,
man.
Yeah.
I just don't know how many more of those guys we'll see.
Absolutely.
I got something, Asa. All right, so Chase actually was the person that asked. So we did like a Q&A on our Instagram, and Chase actually asked what we thought the next trend would be. And he said basically the Steph Curry effect. My bold prediction that I sent back to him, or that I just posted on our story, was I think the traditional big or the traditional five, obviously he'll be able to probably shoot more now because it's becoming such a big part of the game. I think you're going to see that actually come back within the next 5 to 10 years.
Why do you think that?
That's my bold prediction.
Is that just a out of left field bold take?
Maybe a little bit out of left field, but like I said, like he said, Jokic and Embiid were the top 2 players this year. Yes, you see Giannis. Yes, you see KD, the same size that are now working on their ball handling, everything else. Not everybody's as quick as that, and they got to find ways to be very productive. Like basically how Kyle, she kind of ragged on Kyle there for a second. I didn't like that. Kyle, you are super athletic. I believe in you. But no, I just think that like there's a lot of fundamentals that go into it. And I think that the more you transition away from it, there's going to be a couple that slide back into the game, and they're going to be like, oh shoot, we're going to need those. And then it's going to push back in for a little bit. That's why it's a bold take. It might not happen in 5 years. It might not happen in 10, but I have to say if I was a coach and everybody was playing 6'4" guys that I might slide a 6'10" guy out there.
And I hope you're right. I'm biased, but it's so fun to watch a guy that knows how to use his body and his skill. Just go to work down there, especially with all the changes and more guys shooting it. If a guy can really play down there, he's going to have more room than ever. So I hope
correct
right
because the floor is spaced.
Yeah.
And now I will say that I think the biggest reason it's been taken away is because kids are so good at handling the ball now. They're so ball dominant. I think the game is totally transitioned to a ball dominant game. And maybe that's because how they're working with trainers. There's less moving without the ball, in my personal opinion. It's just very ball dominant. Obviously, you see Steph, everyone just watches his, like, when he's handling the ball. But really, the best parts about watching Steph is when he's running around everywhere. That's my favorite part about watching him. But the hardest part about bigs in the game right now is having to guard a ball screen, in my opinion. Because you get up there, then all of a sudden you got flipping Drew Holiday that's coming downhill at you that's lightning fast. And it's like, well, what's Boban going to do when Kawhi Leonard comes off a screen? Like, he's just not quick enough. So, but then you see like Rick Carlisle kind of manipulate it and run some zone, et cetera. So that's why I personally think that'll be the comeback. I'm putting it in stamp right now. Find it on episode 39 of Mind of a Coach. It's right here.
I certainly think that like there may be some dudes that like come up, but I don't think like the game is gonna I don't see how the game is gonna like refocus going back like the inside. I mean, dude, everybody shoots threes now. Like everybody. I just don't. I think there are gonna be some dudes, like I said, but I'm not sure if it's gonna just focus from the inside out. Go. Yes.
Okay, so that's why I got another one. Because what would you consider our 4-out 1-in offense to be like? What
it is inside out. That was inside out.
It was inside out. But where did we take the most shots from? Probably. As in, we were top 10 in the nation, I think, 3 out of the last 5 years.
Wing.
3-point line.
Oh, yeah.
We were top 10 in the nation probably in 3-point field goals attempted.
Yeah.
Probably our junior, senior, my 5th year. Probably. And would be my guess. And still, the most efficient shot we had, I could have shot 40%. Garrison could have shot 40%. The most efficient shot we had was Rob Marbury shooting 68% from 2-point. So, I mean, you just do the math. Yeah, they're going to equate to similar things. But so, I mean, yeah, if you have like 40% shooters spaced across your floor like Northwest Missouri does in Division II basketball, yeah, you win every game by 30. But if not, I think having a traditional 5 is – listen, I'm calling it now.
I love having a traditional 5. I think it's great. I hope they do come back like that.
Bring me a Kyle Teichmann. Let's go.
Man, I don't know if I could help you now, but the point you're making is, yeah, if kids are skilled enough, it's going to help. But when you're feeding the post, which I'm sure you guys were with Rob and even Hassan, like, it's a full-out commitment from the head coach down, like, because y'all are the ones throwing the ball. So, like, you take time of working on feeding the post and talking about angles and duck ends. Like, it's a lot. You know, it's not just, oh, hey, this kid can score inside, lob it up there, because if he's
so much more
feet off the block, he's not going to shoot 68%. He needs to be getting paint touches and creating shots where he doesn't have to make a move. So, I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it just than having guys that are skilled enough.
100%.
Kyle, man, first of all, Nate, it's not rude to point out how if somebody's unathletic. Nobody ever missed a chance to tell me how unathletic I was.
So you're saying Kyle's not athletic?
No.
I'm saying Kyle's not athletic.
I don't know if you heard this, Asa, earlier on in the podcast. He said he dunked it at least 7 or 8 times. I don't know if you heard that.
Right,
I got you, Kyle.
We've kept them too long. Kyle, where can everybody find you on Twitter, Instagram, social media, whatever?
Yeah, I think it's at Kyle Teichmann 34. I pretty much just retweet stuff from our school's athletics account, JCS Athletics. It is an honor. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave y'all with this. Some of the best advice I've ever gotten as coaching. I was at a clinic one time, and this guy's talking about practice. He said, you need to plan and prepare every practice like your idol or your coaching mentors come to watch. And one of the coolest things I get to do is my college coach is my athletic director. So he's at every practice, and I've got to do that every day because I want to make him proud and do a good job. So whenever y'all get that shot, just think, well, hey, Casey's coming to watch me today. What's he going to think? Or Coach King or Coach McNatt. And it'll change the way you prepare, and you'll see tons of dividends. So that's one of the most impactful things I've ever heard.
Gosh, that's good. I'll definitely make sure to tweet that out tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man. Thank you, Kyle. Again, you can find myself on Instagram at the Ace of Spades with a Z on the end. You can find Nathan on Twitter at his new Twitter handle at Coach Nate Moran. You can find him on Instagram as well at Nate5_Moran. You can find Mind of a Coach on Twitter at Mind of a Coach Pod, and you can find Mind of a Coach on Instagram at Mind of a Coach. Kyle, appreciate you again, man. Seriously, this was awesome. I'm really glad we had you on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to another everything you guys do with the podcast and your careers. So if I can ever do anything for you, y'all do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, man. Best
Thank
luck.
you so much.
Yep, keep in touch.
Free candy for the masses, sweet with stereo sound. Like the Vaders and the Gators in the breakbeat tune. Automator on the fader, corner shop with the boom. Slapping hands with my brothers as we rise to the sun. Les enfants feel the rhythm of the rhymes you stone. Say mon appel, baby doll, for your pleasure tonight. Here's the gender with the streets, we be like so on ice. Check it. Here's the gender with the streets, we be like so on ice. Check it.